Hooray for Hollywood. That's gooey, bally, hooly Hollywood. Where any office boy or young mechanic can be a panic with just a good-looking plan.
And any shop girl can be a top girl if she pleases the tired businessman.
Hooray for Hollywood.
Hello, Hollywood, and welcome to this morning's Walk of Fame ceremony. A special shout out to our fans who are watching the live video stream courtesy of our media partner, Variety. I'm Laron Gubler, President and CEO of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, which is presenting today's program. Today we are dedicating the 2,623rd star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in honor of actor Nick Nolte. Let me tell you a little about our honoree, and cheer for whatever you like. Nick is an Omaha, Nebraska native. There must be somebody here from Nebraska. Okay. All right. He's a Cornhusker. So anyway, he played college football before he discovered theater and began his acting career at the Pasadena Playhouse. He then studied briefly with Brian O'Byrne at the Stella Adler Academy right here in Hollywood. And thereafter, he traveled for several years performing in regional theaters. Nick is currently starring in Graves. And that is for which he's had a Golden Globe nominated performance. He plays an ex-president who hopes to end the wrongs of his administration 25 years after leaving the White House. Season 2 of Graves premiered on Epix in October and currently airs Sunday nights. The season finale will be on December the 10th, so be sure and watch it. Now let's go back to the beginning of Nick's career. He started his journey as an actor by landing a breakthrough role in the legendary television series Rich Man, Poor Man. And that launched him into international fame and garnered him Emmy and Golden Globe Award nominations. Following its success, he made his feature film starring debut in The Deep, opposite Jacqueline Bisset. How many of you saw The Deep? All right. That was a great starring feature role for him, and he's never looked back. Diversity of character became his signature in his early film career, with roles such as a drug-smuggling Vietnam veteran, a disillusioned football star, a free-spirited beat-era writer, and as a reclusive marine biologist. Among his films are the following, and cheer for the ones that are your favorites. They include A Walk in the Woods, Warrior, for which he received Academy Award, Screen Actors Guild, and Broadcast Film Critics nominations for Best Supporting Actor. The Hollywood parody Tropic Thunder, Spider Rick Chronicles, The Beautiful Country, Clean, The Peaceful Warrior, and Never Was. Additional film credits include Hotel Rwanda, The Good Thief, The Hulk, and North Fork. In recent years, Nick has successfully added to his credit top contending films such as Affliction, for which he received Academy Award, Golden Globe, and Independent Film nominations for Best Actor, and The Prince of Tides. And for that performance, he received an Oscar nomination for Best Actor and won the Golden Globe as Best Actor from the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. Additionally, he starred in the critically acclaimed Lorenzo's Oil, co-starring with Susan Sarandon. Now, Nick's long-anticipated autobiography, Rebel, will be published by HarperCollins on January the 23rd next year. And let me also add that he is a strong supporter of the American Red Cross. So please help me welcome to the stage now our honoree, Nick Nolte. Now, before you get to hear from Nick, I've got a couple of the speakers who've asked to say a few words about him. Our first speaker today co-wrote, produced, and directed the acclaimed film Warrior, starring Nick Nolte. The film enjoyed excellent critical reception and received praise for its raw, honest, authentic characters and story. Among his other films are American Standoff, Tumbleweeds, Miracle, and Pride and Glory. Please welcome director Gavin O'Connor to the stage.
God, well, you don't want to be up here with me.
You're the speaker. I'm the subject. I'll behave with what you say.
Hey, everybody. I'm going to walk down memory lane a little bit. Nick was born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska. His dad fought in World War II. He was an engineer. His name was Lank, for Frank, because he was tall as a tree and skinny as a weed. Nick's mom's name was Helen. She was a buyer in the fashion industry. She was liberated before there was women's lib. Nick has one sister, Nancy, retired head of the New Jersey Red Cross. She lives on a farm in upstate New York. Little Nick was a child of nature. The Tarzan tree, the Skunk River, fox, snakes. Nick would catch the snakes and put them inside the handlebars of his bike. At home, he'd take off the handlebar grips and stick a hose in one end and flush out all the snakes, which caused great alarm for his mom, Helen. Nick was a challenging boy, wildly curious and curiously wild. A young artist in training inside the body of an athlete. Nick played football in college. Nick was also expelled from college. Nick is a man of many colors. He was a felon, manufactured draft cards in the 1960s. Yeah, woo! Then he became an actor. He locked himself in a room and devoured all the great plays, treaded the boards across the country, performing in regional theater. Nick was a gypsy, and then he accidentally became a movie star. Now, Nick was a hunk in the 1970s. Nick is a master of his craft. Nick made one of the greatest sports films ever made, North Dallas 40. No question about that. Nick is a mind trip. Nick is humble. Nick is crazy to the bone. I have a list of my favorite movies of yours, but we went down that already, so I'm going to bypass that. And I just want to say a couple of things. As an actor, Nick has one of the greatest listener's ears I've ever witnessed, and a voice that sounds like he swallowed a bag of nails. Nick is mythic. Nick is a glass blower. Nick likes to stir the soup. Nick is a redwood. Nick is crooked timber. Nick is a national treasure. Nick is a father. Hi. Nick is a partner. And Nick is a friend. Nick has a big heart. And I learned that while working with him on my film Warrior. I remember on set one day, he told me the greatest thing you can learn in life is to accept losing. He said, That's where the growth is. Well, today is not about losing, Mr. Nick. Today is a celebration of how Nick won, because you've lived an incredible life, a career spanning 5 decades, 3 Academy Award nominations, and maybe more importantly, this. So on Warrior, Nick became friends with a very dear friend of mine named Jimmy Savetic. Jimmy's a retired Pittsburgh detective, and he's also a poet. And Jimmy wanted to be here today to give you this, but he's back home in the Berg fighting cancer. This speaks to Nick's big heart. It's presented to Nick Nolte, Lifetime Achievement Award. Western Pennsylvania Police Athletic League recognizes you, Nick Nolte, for participating in the Gathering of Peace held at Heinz Field. Your commitment and devotion in memory of the fallen officers was truly moving. Thank you for making a difference in other people's lives and for making the world a better place, lest we forget. I love you, my brother.
Thank you, Gavin. Let me do a couple of introductions. We have with us the chairman of the board of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Jeff Zaranam. Jeff owns the Hollywood Hotel and the new Hollywood Distillery. And we also have with us the captain of Hollywood Division of LAPD, Captain Corey Palka back there, towering over everyone. Always delighted to have our LAPD here. They do so much for us here in Los Angeles and Hollywood. And speaking of the city, it is my honor now to introduce the council member who represents this part of Hollywood. He represents the Walk of Fame. He is doing an outstanding job leading the charge for Hollywood revitalization, and so please welcome the Honorable Mitch O'Farrell.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations. You bet. Good morning, everyone. Let's hear it for Nick Nolte. You're all witnessing history. We're about to award him his star on the historic Walk of Fame. Let's hear it again. In addition to a few words about this great actor, I also want to acknowledge the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce for providing this wonderful resource and placing these stars on the Walk of Fame so that fans from across the world, not just here, not just the United States, but from across the world, can come and enjoy the Walk of Fame and pay homage to their greatest stars, whether it be acting or music or television or recording industry. This is a one-of-a-kind resource only found here in Hollywood, a very, very special place. So thank you, Chamber of Commerce. Now, Nick Nolte, a great actor, as we all know, and 3-time Academy Award nominee, and I feel very, very strongly that if Anthony Hopkins hadn't made that little tiny film way back in the day called Silence of the Lambs, that Nick Nolte would have been the recipient of the Oscar that year for his incredible performance in Prince of Tides. Do you all agree to that? Right? Sometimes the greatest actors don't win the Oscar, but they're frequently nominated, and I think that's what is happening here with this great actor. And in all of his roles, no matter if it's from that groundbreaking television series, Rich Man, Poor Man, or some of his great films, Nick Nolte has a particular authenticity that comes across on screen, and you can't act that. That is just real, and that is being authentic and real in the moment, in the scenes that he is in. And that's what he has brought to films and Hollywood and this industry, and you cannot put a price on that. Across all genres of storytelling, your dedication to your craft shines through in all of your performances, and you've entertained and impacted audiences across the globe. You are truly deserving of this star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and I couldn't be happier to be here in person to present this token of our gratitude as the city family and as Los Angeles City Council member representing the 13th District and Hollywood. I award the certificate of acknowledgement to this great, great artist and actor, Nick Nolte. Congratulations. They're going to want to take some pictures here, so we'll step forward a little bit. Here we go.
Thank you, Councilmember O'Farrell. So, Nick, it's time for you to speak, but let me do one final thing by way of introduction. It's my honor to, on behalf of the Chamber and the community of Hollywood, to declare this Nick Nolte Day in Hollywood.
Nick Nolte Day. I can barely get through one myself. I want to thank the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce for this honor. You know, in the early 1960s, my parents lived up here off of Gower. So I was over in Pasadena playing football, but I used to, on my time off, come down here and walk this boulevard and look at these stars, and it would not only evoke the memory of the individual person, but it would evoke the memory of the stories they told. And that's very much indicative of the history of America. It was written down, yes, but it was passed on word by word and many times by art and statuary and these kinds of things. So it's something as a non-actor, which I was in those days, stuck in my mind. From there, I went on to do 20 years of theater and came back here in a William Inge play. But let me see where I pointed on. I covered that already. Yeah. So there's a reason why this street and this town is such a center to the United States and to the world as the kind of the center of filmmaking in America. And that's because they honored this street with these stars along the way. And that's unlike any street in LA. I mean, there's Sunset Boulevard on up the road, but as the business changed, the street changes. There is no recorded history of the actors that moved through Sunset. I've always thought there are great history books to be written, but they don't keep track of it. This is one town and Chamber of Commerce that does. So it's a great honor, and I know everybody speak to 2 minutes, and so I'm going to just tell you I'm deeply honored, and thank you very much, Hollywood Chamber of Commerce.
All right, it's time to unveil the star. We'd ask Gavin O'Connor and Councilmember O'Farrell to join us for the unveiling. So come right on down.
All right.
Sounds good. Man of the hour.
Number will be on your right. Okay. And Gavin will be right behind.
We'll pass it, Veronica. Yep. Got it. Yep. That's it.
All right.
Got it? Yep. Okay, are we going your way, Laurent?
Yes, we'll go this
Okay.
way. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we proudly welcome to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Nick Nolte. Turn that around with the press and they'll...
Everybody look straight in the center, please. Straight in the center.
It's right here, Nick.
To your left, please. Right here. Right back in the center, please. Look right at the guy on the right. Okay. So now I'm going to have Gavin. Not yet.
I think you're coming up. There we go.
So you need
You're the first to step on it. There you go. Nick, look straight ahead.
Right up here?
And both of you to the right.
The gentleman went up here, please.
now you by yourself. Stop here and go do a step.
Nick, to your right.
And Nick, right up here in the middle, please.
Nick, down on the floor, please.
Got it, Bob?
Okay. Yeah. You get it to the right.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
What do you guys want? Solo?
Yeah, and Nick, to your right. Straight ahead one time.
And right up here, Mr. Nolte. And Nick, right up here.
Nick, one more to your right.
You want to kneel down?
Nick, down the way to the floor. Nick, one more to your right. To your right, Nick.
And Mr. Nolte, one back here, sir.
Everybody look straight in the center, please. Look straight ahead in the center. Center. To your left, please. Over to your left, everybody. Over to the left of here. Back in the center. Okay, and a little to the right. Right to the right. Okay, and then down low, right here. Right here. In the middle, please. Okay, now we're going to get your team. Gentlemen.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Straight ahead, gentlemen, right in the center.
All right.
Whatever you want to do.
Hey, Bob.
Very fast, guys. Why this one?
Nick, right out here, sir?
Can you touch the snake, Mr. Nolte? Can you touch the star?
Sure. I think.
Want to take one with the bow?
I don't know.
It's okay. You're fine. Just do a
Nick, look straight ahead.
Hold on, Bob.
Straight ahead, there you go. One straight ahead. I know, it must be terrible.
Hold on, guys.
And Nick, right straight ahead here.
Nick, in the middle. Middle, Nick.
And Mr. Nolte, right up here, sir.
And Nick, to your right.
There you go.
And Nick, right down the middle here, sir.
Nick, back to the floor. Nick, to your extreme left. Center, Nick.
Nick, one more to your right.
Mr. Nolte, one up here, sir.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna get the lion's gate. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. It is fun.
Okay, everybody straight ahead. Need you straight ahead.
Thank you.
You done, Anna?
One more, okay?
Anna, what about Milan? Okay, Paul.
Gentlemen.
And Paul and Nick, up here, please.